Hi, my name is Lawrence and I create videos on a regular basis for YouTube and for video marketing purposes. And I want to introduce you to VideoMaker FX. So this piece of software is a highly effective way of making videos quickly and easily. It comes right out of the box with everything you need to have to get going to create these amazing, awesome videos. So just like this one here that I'm showing you right now, this can literally be created within minutes. And this course is going to walk you through how and show you and demonstrate how easy it really is to get started with this software. So all it really is, we're going to walk you through all the different options that you have, as well as you can see that it comes preloaded with a ton of different slides, and you could literally go through these slides and customize them, customizing the text, customizing the background, adding in images to really make them your own. So the possibilities are literally infinite. And one of the main things that always attracts me to VideoMaker FX is just the ease of use. If I work with something like Adobe Premiere, which I have as well, and I've been using that for quite a while, and I always find with Adobe Premiere I really get bogged down on projects. So in order to create something, just a simple marketing message where I've got some text here and some background effects in Adobe Premiere, this is probably about an hour, hour and a half to create a finished product. And of course with Adobe Premiere you've got a lot more options, but if you really want to get something up ready quickly, then VideoMaker FX is the one that I use. And within this course I'm just going to walk you through how it works and some basic functionality of it, and then leave it up to you to explore it a little bit more, just to find out all the different really cool functions that it's got available. And one of the main things is just the sheer number of slides that are available. So you can use any one of these slides and bring them into your project and work with them. So a lot of different options here, and really quite a lot you can do with it. So really good. So there's a lot of really good things that you can do with it. Making videos, making whiteboard videos, just information videos, and a whole lot more. And the really cool thing about it is that there's no restrictions ever, there's no fees like monthly fees, there's no watermarks, there's no costly software, or there's nothing else that you really have to do other than get started with it to create amazing videos. And these are the types of videos that really engage the audience. So a few different things that you can do with them. You can even sell them for profit. You could go on Fiverr and just sell them there, or sell them on Kijiji, sell it as a service to make some extra money. Or if you're looking to make presentations, business presentations, again, really nice type of videos that are really easy to get a message across. And that's what the main thing is, that it's easy to get your message across within these types of videos. And there's just a ton of ways to make money when you're creating, when it doesn't take you long to make a video. If you're spending hours to create a video, there's always a downside of the time that it's consuming. But if you can really create a video in literally minutes and get your message across, if you're doing an affiliate review, product review, or something else like that, and you can get your message across quickly, this saves you time, and that's very important when it comes to video production. The amount of time that you spend and the return that you're getting on those videos really needs to make sense when you're trying to profit off of video production. If you're making videos for profit, then saving time is ideal, and something like this is an ideal piece of software. And if you're doing any type of video marketing as well, great way to get your message across and to engage your audience and to really get those conversions and get your sales growing. So whenever you're ready, let's begin, and we're going to walk you through how you can create your own video in minutes. So once you open up VideoMaker FX, you're going to be ready to create some amazing, awesome videos. And it's going to be really easy to do. So to start out, all we have to do is follow the arrow here and create a project. And then we have to give it a project name. So I'm just going to type in Udemy and I'm going to create the project. And over here, they've got some really good guidance as well within the software, so it's going to be really helpful to kind of get started with this. And what you first have to do is add a slide to get started. So that's what we're going to do, and that opens up the slide pop-up window. And within the slide pop-up window, you've got a whole bunch of options here. So when you do make that selection, you see the preview here on the right-hand side, and then as well you've got a little bit of a description here that tells you what kind of text and what's going to be required for this particular slide. So you can go down and you can select out whatever slide it is that you're looking to create. So we're going to start out with just this, this slide here, and what you see here in the bottom right hand corner, you're able to add all slides. So that will add in all the 3 slides from this pack, and depending on the number of slides available in the pack, it will add in different amounts of slides. So you can either select one of the slides from the pack, or you can select multiple slides from the pack. So I'm just going to add in this slide, and as you can see here, it pops up within my preview area now, and I have also, this isn't grayed out anymore here on the right hand side. So we've got an option to select out our text area. So depending on the number of text areas, so this one is a fairly simple slide, and it's got this 3D effect, and you can always pause it if you want to pause it and work with it, and then run it again, hit play again, when you want to see the full effect taking place. So here we've got our first text area, and here you can enter in different text for the text area, as well as you can enter in a different default font. So these are all a bunch of fonts that are available within, and you see that once the font gets changed, it also changes within the preview area. And then of course you can change the font size and select from any number of these really cool fonts that they have available. And then you're also able to do text alignment here, so text center, text right, and you've also got the vertical alignment, center, bottom, and you also have this for text effect. So this gives a little bit extra, so you saw it when I did that blurred shadow, it dropped in that shadow around it, and this is pretty good so you can see your text and it stands out a little bit from the background. And of course we wouldn't want to be having white with the same background effect, so you got to change the color of your text if you're going to use any one of these white shadows, and if you're using a black shadow, of course change it over to a lighter font. Also, you can check off this movement enable, and that gives you to reposition where the font is and where this preview area is going to show up. So as I move it up or down, and you see that I'm not able to, that vertical align gets grayed out when you check that off, and that's because these are some default positioning, so top, center, and bottom. But if I want to really position in a particular location, I can do this movement enable, and I can move the font up and down, also left and right as needed. So usually I prefer to just do like the default ones because it's a lot easier than having to maneuver font. But again, if it's a requirement for what you're doing, then you can always move your font around or your preview text area around as needed here on the right hand side. So now that you've added your initial text that you want to show up, you've got some options here for images. Now this is the ability to customize these slides. So maybe if the slide isn't exactly what you want, you have the ability to work with images. And again, it depends on the slide. You're going to have different image elements that are going to be available. The same way that you had the text elements, you're going to have different image elements depending on the slide. So the one that we had selected is a fairly easy and straightforward one. So what we have here, we have an option to browse file, we're able to open gallery, and we're able to just clear out that image, and then we've got some scaling, aspect ratios, and we've got some other options here. So what we're going to do, just do a simple browse file and pick out an image that we want to use in our background. So these are just some random images that I have on my computer, and I'm going to just maybe move this one down a little bit. And now I might want to go back to my text and make an adjustment on the text so it stands out a little bit more. Just made a simple update of the text color and the background there. So just so it stands out a little bit better from the background. And here we've got our option of our background image. So let's say that, well, we realize that this image doesn't really look as sharp as we want it to do, and we want to just clear that out and start again. So we can easily just do clear image, and maybe this time we want to look through the gallery and see what's available within gallery. So all we have to do is click open gallery, and that opens up the default gallery window that you have available within VideoMaker FX. And from here you can pick out all these different items, these default items that are available within the gallery. So you've got your arrows, you've got your add to cart. So these are mainly commonly used type items. Here we've got some different backgrounds with patterns. So there's really quite a lot of selection here, and you can really just go through and pick out just the different ones that you're interested in. And then all you have to do is just do a use image. So also down here we've got some different devices, and we've got some just basic photos here, some really cool photos. And as you can see, this is really starting to turn out to be very simple to create these slides here within VideoMaker FX. Like, everything is by default available within the software. So this is just a basic version of the software. As you can see, social icons. So these are common things that you might be looking for to add into your videos, as well as the devices. And there's also these guarantees. So these are really cool and really effective ways to add marketing messages into your videos. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick with a background image, and I'm going to just pick one here, the blackboard maybe, and then just click use image. And then you see that it does get applied, and if we want to move up that image, we've got a menu here on the right hand side. We're also able to scale the image so that we can use the plus or minus signs. And I guess, yeah, we can't drag it, but we can move it up and down here. And then here we've got some options to rotate it. And then we also have options to for transparency as well. So if we want to bring back our original black or blue background, we could just do more transparent here. And then we've also got the ability here to rotate and move up and down, and then center as well. Again, if we don't like that image, we can always do a clear image. And also, of course, if you add in PNG images, it's going to be a clear to the background there, and so this is just a PNG that I've added in. So again, the next option here is shapes. So you've got an option for background shapes. So you can actually enable a background color on this particular slide, and we can just apply it by pressing the R. And as we can see, because we used a PNG file, we're able to still see the transparent part of that PNG file, so it transparents to the background, and we can still see our background color. So if we want to make this black and apply that, we could do it within that type of format. And then with shapes, again, you've got the same options as you did with images, where you can shrink it, you can make it bigger, smaller, and this background shape, essentially it's taking up that whole background area. So really you can move it up and down, and as you can see, it's by default it's the size of the actual slide or the visual area on the video. So moving it up and down, you can create a little bit of a spacing there that's going to allow for a different color to kind of shine through on your video. So again, you could rotate it just like with images, and you can work with it. So here you can basically, for this shape, we can set a different color on it, and also we can just uncheck it like that. So we can enable it and then select a different color for the shape and then set that if we want to. So I'm just going to bring that back down to black, and I'm going to set it as black, just so our white text does stand out. And I did have to change the text back to white because this image had some black on it. So again, you have to make sure that you're using different elements within the video that are going to stand out. So the more contrast there is, so you got white and black, the more the text will stand out. And if you do have a message here, you really do want that text to stand out. So not as much the image, but I really want my text to stand out. So that's why I changed it back to white with a black background. So either way, or it could be a white background with black text or darker text. So besides images and backgrounds, we have another option here for each individual slide. This option is going to be an animation background. So all you have to do is you can select from 2 different animations that are available. So certain slides might support additional options for animations, again depending on the slide. So some will have different options here depending again on the slide that you've chosen. So we've got a fairly basic and straightforward one, and this one comes with 2 different animation options. And when you go to 0, that means that the animation is off. And here we can see when we go to 1, we get this kind of spiraling, kind of really neat effect to it. We can go to 2, which gives us a little bit more spiraling. And again, 3, so we got a bunch of clouds here. And we can move these up and down as needed as well. Same with left and right. So the same way that the images were working, we have some ability to manipulate these background animations. So here we've got some bubbles, here we've got some white bubbles, and again some lines with an arrow pointing down. So this is really good for YouTube or any other videos where you've got a description here below and you want to get that attention from the viewer down to the bottom left hand side. So this is really a common place, so for subscribe buttons as well as other additional options. So you can see here that we've got a whole bunch of options for animations. I think that we've just turned that one on. So again, a bunch of different options for arrows pointing up and down, and that spiraling effect, and literally there's a whole bunch of really neat animations that you can add in. So this is adding in this kind of wavy line. And again, really easy to begin to customize out your videos to really make them unique and stand out. Yeah, so I'm going to just leave number 8, so it's got these kind of lines going back and forth. And then again, what we had looked at before, where we've got these animations where we can add these arrows going down, we can add a white one, a different color, and really just to bring attention to the content below. So again, it's always pointing down, and for this slide, or for this one, you had 9 different options. So I'm just going to turn that off because it's not going to be necessary for the video that we're making for within this course. So again, those are your 4 basic options that you can work with, and this goes for any slide. So depending on the slide that you pick, you might have some different options here as well. And then lastly, the 5th option here is if your video clip does support an MP4 or a flash file or a FLV format file, then you're going to have that option here within the video, and it's going to work the same way as the shapes, images, and animations, where you've got this clickable menu. As well as for this slide, we're able to record, or we're able to add an MP3 file. So this is also really useful and helpful if you want to do slide-by-slide recordings and information. So if you want to just record a welcome message, you could do that here by doing a record, and as you can see, the little window pops up for voice recorder, and you see it's picking up my mic here, and then all I'd have to do is just do a recording, and that would record the current audio right into this particular slide to play within the slide. So a lot of really good quick options that a lot of times you might just have to change the text and the images, and that's good enough to customize, sometimes the backgrounds. And again, depending on what message you're trying to get across and how much information you've got in the slide, most of these default slides that you pick out, they should be sufficient enough to produce that message for within the slides. So we can see here there are some that are quite a bit more complex here. So here it's got a shape controls right hand, so it's a bunch of different shape controls here as well. You've got the different characters here. And then again, really neat things that you can do, and it gives you a basic description of what's going to be available within that slide before you add it. And a whole bunch of really great options. And as you can see, these are really cool slides, and they really do get the message across. So again, very easy to add in additional slides. So in the later lessons, we're just going to be showing you some of these really cool slides to add in, and just going to add that in and just show you that this one's got an image area, it's got a background area, it's got 3 different shape areas, it's got the same 2 default animations, and then again, this one doesn't have video, but it does still have that 1 text area. So we're going to be going through some additional slides in the upcoming lessons as well. So within this lesson, we're going to work a little bit more with adding slides. So we had picked out a new slide. We had just gone into the slide selection here, and again, a lot of really cool ones here. So it is worthwhile to just take a look through them and really see these awesome slides that they have. These are all pre-made, and you can just simply go and select. And then just here in the description, take a look at what is available here. So this one's got 5 text lines. So if you do have content that's going to encompass all 5 of these text lines, then this might be a good one. If you've only got kind of like a limited message that you want to send across, maybe 1 sentence, maybe this one isn't the one for you. But if you've got a bunch of bullet points that you just want to really hit out, so again, take a look at these descriptions until you get really familiar with these all these different slides. And again, ones like this, really cool, and just make sure that you do realize that there's 4 text lines. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different text lines, as well as a background that can be customized. And again, logo, intros. It's got really nice effects here. So we've picked out one that was fairly simple and just added that in, and this one only had the 1 text area, which is going to be displayed here in the bottom. And again, we've got the ability to customize the text color as well as the effect. So usually I like to put some kind of background in the text just to highlight it a little bit better and have it stand out. So this is fine, the location is fine. And here we've got images. So what I did is I went to the gallery and I went down to these example graphics, and then this is the VideoMaker FX logo. So I'm just going to use that because we're actually talking about VideoMaker FX within this video, so it's a really good one to be using. And then also we have an option to customize the background. So again, we can browse to a file. So if we had a really cool background that we wanted to use and we want to implement it, we could do it that way. But unfortunately, you see that this comes out here, so you might or might not want to use this background. You might want to use a more solid background because you can see this one's got a lot of these dots, and then this area kind of stands out. But again, it's up to you how you want to use it. And then going into shapes, so you've got some options here for the different shapes, and then again you can pick different colors for them. And this shape here, sometimes it's not exactly evident where the shape is. So you might have to do a little bit of looking around and saying, okay, well, you know, this is that shape. And then this one here is probably this background shape here, but we'll just take a look and we'll see that, yeah, in fact, indeed it is actually that background. And actually I did like it white better. So we can also remove it. So what I was saying earlier, where if you've got a graphic, if it's a PNG file, and maybe you don't want that kind of border around it, that background around it, you can always remove out the shapes by enabling or disabling them. So just it's disabled, or you can enable it with a checkbox. So again, this was maybe something that you want to remove out, and as well as the background shape. I believe that this image isn't a PNG, so it's a full image. So again, we might want to just remove that out, because there would be really no purpose if we already had our background that we're using. So we're going to use all these dotted backgrounds, and again, going back to there, maybe we're just going to change that up a little bit and add another image to it. And again, there's a whole bunch of different options, so you can set the VideoMaker FX to the background, you can set the VideoMaker FX to this area, and depending again how you want to use it. And then you've got also that ability to shrink it and to move it around. So if you really want to kind of have this double background of it, you can do that as well. And you'll notice the order that it's being presented. So the background image is always going to be, as the name implies, background, and then here you've got the image above it. So this will give you a little bit of an indication of what the image is going to be. So all of these images that are floating over the background are just image areas, and the background is always the background image. And then here the shape BG is for the shape background. So here, because we're using a PNG, maybe we can enable it again and set it, and you can see here that now we're actually able to have that background show up within that format. And then again, animations. So if we want to quickly add in an animation, so we can go to animation 1, and we can have this spiraling effect, and we can add a whole bunch of different effects easily. Also, in addition to these animation effects, you've also got this background effect. So this is uniform across all the different selectable items here at the top, and these, if you notice, they're always going to stay the same. So when I do make a background effect selection, you see that it does do some coloring here around the outside, and in some cases there's more highlighting here at the top. So again, a whole bunch of options here to really customize what you're doing for the background effects. So you've got one there that's actually the globe, so that's kind of neat. So these are all default out-of-the-box effects, and that's why VideoMaker FX is a really cool piece of software, because you really have all of these things right out of the box, and you don't really have to look around for content on the web or spend a lot of time to really customize and use your own content. There's a lot of stuff pre-built into this software, and makes it really powerful, easy to use, and you can literally create really cool videos if you've got the text, you've got the message that you want to get across, and once you familiarize yourself with the software and all the different slides, it's just going to be as easy as literally minutes to pop out a video. And then these videos you can use to promote on YouTube, you can promote products, sell different pieces of content, reviews, and just marketing messages, and a whole bunch of different options. So really, it's limitless what you can do with it, and really cool, easy to use piece of software. So within this lesson, we're going to add in a new slide. So we're going to add in this 3D photo effect both sides, and that's just over here, and we've got 3D photo effect both sides. So this is this first one here. So you can also do a left side, or you could do a right side. So all I did is select this one, add slide, and now it's within my video, and here I'm selecting it. So I've got 4 text areas. I've added in some text here, images, and the good thing about the gallery, it's got that YouTube icon. So again, it's really neat that it does have these useful icons that you might be using on a regular basis, and they're just simply available right within the video. So I'm going to just make that And the way to work with that YouTube, so I've got it there as well. I'm just going to clear that one, and I'm going to keep it within here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this video in order to edit this icon, to reposition it and get it to looking the way that I want it to look. So maybe I'm going to move that down a little bit, and now I'm going to go over to the background, and you see that we can enable or disable the background, and then we also have some colors for the background. So we want to keep it, we might want to make it black, and you can see these arrows are functioning a little bit more. So again, you do see this kind of reflective part. So I'm going to go back to there, and I'm going to update that image. So I'm going to go back to playing that preview video. And maybe what I'll do as well, I'm going to make that YouTube a little bit smaller, just so it fits in a little bit better. And as you can see, you do have that ability to rotate it, which is coming in useful for this animation, and maybe just make it bigger as well. So again, a lot of times you can just use it right out of the box, but for this one I wanted to kind of have it go across the entire screen there, and just going to rotate it. Now going back to image 1, and now this is where I can add in an image from my gallery. Just added in that one, so that was my default image. So as we can see here, promotional videos and presentations and more. I might have to actually move that one down a little bit, and we do see that it's got this kind of really cool reflective option down here. And so now I got to pause on there and to move it down, because this image exactly wasn't as centered as I wanted it to be. So again, that's what these buttons here are for, to move it around. And then lastly, for animation, this one doesn't have any options for animation. As you can see, there's already an animation applied to it. So this gives me what I needed to do with my video, and as I can see here, I've got some additional options for a slide delay or an end delay. So all this is going to do, if I do an end delay there, so I'm going to put 10 seconds end delay, and you see what happens here with the video. It slows it down. It's going to actually make it longer here in the timeline. So my end delay now is going to be additional 16 seconds that wasn't there before, and you can see with the end delay that's got this delay of going through that 16 seconds, and then before it hits the next slide it's going to do that that delay. So oftentimes you could just take the defaults, because this is good enough to get those messages across, but you can also do a slide delay here in the beginning, and that will delay the slide between when it starts out there. So it's going to be the same thing as the end delay, but it's just going to work on the opposite side and doing the same thing where it's going to affect the length of the video there. And the other really cool thing about it is that if you want to duplicate a slide, all you have to do is click this, and this actually duplicates that slide over, and I can drag it on my timeline here and place it wherever I want to place it. So here I've duplicated this slide, and I can go into it, and I can re-customize it. So if I want to reuse some of these elements and effects, I can reuse them, or if I want to create entirely different slide or update it, I can do that as well. If I've got images that I've used that I liked and I want to keep reusing them, again, really easy to do. Just do that duplicate, and if I duplicate something and if I don't like it anymore, I can always remove it out. So now that we've gone through creating some of the different types of slides, you're probably wondering about, well, where are these whiteboard slides? And whiteboard slides are really becoming popular. They're super effective in getting messages across. And so we've got our options here for all the different whiteboard slide sets. So what we can do is we can pick out the different whiteboard slide that we want to use, and again, we also have that option to add all the different whiteboard options here. So what I'm going to do, as we said in the beginning, that we want to create videos in less than 5 minutes and get our message across. So that's what we're going to do this. We're going to add in the whiteboard set, and we're going to re-update the text within it, and it's going to create a video, like a really quick video within our video that we're making here. So all I have to do is add all slides, and here it's adding in all of these great slides that are already pre-configured, and now all I have to do is select them and update it. And again, with the animation here, you've got some options with animating the background, so we can do some. Actually, with these whiteboard ones, there are no options for this one in particular. I'm not sure about the other ones, about what you can do with the actual whiteboard. So we're just going to actually stick to just keeping by default. And yeah, so the only animation that we're getting are these arrows down. So we're not able to, as we were before, add all those background animations. So we've only got that animation one, and these are the arrows that are going down. So again, it depends on the slide, but I believe all of these ones, from what I remember, when I select them, I think that they're all the same arrow ones. And again, remember, you have to select it here on the left-hand side before you can manipulate it and update and change it. So again, we're going to get back to the video, and I'm just going to do it like this. So I'm going to write create a video in 5 minutes. And it really does help when you don't have a lot of customization. So if I want to keep this, if I don't have a background image, or if I want to add one in quickly, usually by default when you're using these sketch type videos, it's usually good just to kind of keep with what you have. You can also change that background color if you want. So there are options again, but again, oh, sorry, we're not enabling it. So once we enable it, you see that we do have the ability to do background changes, but usually with these whiteboard ones, I like to just kind of keep it as is and just update the text, and maybe I even add in some backgrounds if I want to. And then again, the animations were again limited. So we've got some options here. Again, still we're able to do the audio, but there really isn't much else we can do with it. So again, but the whole point of the whiteboard videos is to keep it within this type of format. So we do have the top one as text area 1, create a video in 5 minutes. And the red part is the 5 minutes, and then this is just the default image there. And the whole point of these is really just to be able to create like a quick video. All I did is I updated the text here, and everything looks like it suits with what I'm trying to do here. So we show you how, and here we're going to say using VideoMaker FX. So easy to learn. So we're just updating that text again. And as you know, if you might have noticed here that the case is always going uppercase here, so we don't have options as we did before with the other slides where we could customize the text. We do have the ability to move it though, but again, we're kind of limited to what we can do with the text, because these are the whiteboard videos or the whiteboard slides, so they do tend to get a little bit more limited. And then this one's got a whole bunch of text again. So this is sliding in text. And actually this one has a little bit more text than I need, so I'm just going to remove that one out and go into the next one. And again, so actually I'm going to take that more time. I'm going to put it into that one. And again, we've got our option there for color. For other things. And as you can see, it's kind of really neat how it fits into with what I want, the message that I want to get across for this video. So I do have to make this a little bit smaller because it did actually go outside of. So you have more time for other things. And I'm just going to go through that again. So create a video in 5 minutes. And also, if you notice here within the timeline, it still has these default texts. So we have our own that we've put in here, but it's always going to be functioning by the default there. And this is just so you know what the slide is. So create a video in 5 minutes. We show you how using VideoMaker FX. So easy to learn. So you have more time for other things. So actually I like this, so how does it work? And all I'm going to do is I'm going to drag that over to here. So we show you how. So I'm going to put that here. So we show you how. So how does it work? We show you how. That one over, and I just shuffled them around a little bit. So now we've got our message, create a video in 5 minutes. So I'm going to say actually in less than, and I'm going to change that size of that font again. So create a video in less than 5 minutes, and it's going to pause that. And sometimes again, when you do have text, you've got more than the allocated size, you do have to make some adjustments to the text, the font size, and then you might have to move it down or up. So again, depending, so just pause that video, and then once you're ready, again, once you've made that adjustment, you can go back to playing it. So create a video in less than 5 minutes using VideoMaker FX, so easy to learn. So how does it work? Get started quickly. And if you notice here, what I did is I left out this text area 3. So I just duplicated that one. Comes with everything you need to build videos like this. So you have more time for other things. And then we've just got one last one here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove that one there. So there we go. There was literally a video inside of a video. So this video is 6 plus 6 plus 6. So this video is about 42 seconds long. So this is our video that we created within our video, and within that slide pack that we added, we were very easily able to add in our message that we want to add in. So again, really easy to work with, and Whiteboard, again, really effective ways to get your message across to your viewers. So always, always, always remember to save your project on a regular basis. So if you want to save it as something different, you're able to do that as well. And this is just because you don't ever want to lose work that you've been working on. So saving it on a regular basis, at least it gets to your hard drive. And if something does happen with your computer, if it crashes or the power goes out or some other kind of unforeseen issue comes up, you've got your project saved. So that's just always a good thing to do whenever you're working on, especially when you're working on videos, because the last thing you want to do is have to redo everything. And so now that we've got quite a few slides here, we might want to look at what this project looks like. So we're just going to do preview project. So here we've got a preview window of our project. We don't have any audio with it yet, but we've got all of our visuals that we've been creating through this course. And this is just, it's always a good idea to make sure that your video is flowing as you need to. Try reading through the text that you're displaying to make sure that you're allocating enough time for the viewer to be able to get a sense of what information you're trying to convey to them. And then this is also another time to kind of reflect and check if you've got some errors. And also to see that how things are actually going to work and look within your finished product. And as you can see here, some of these we might be able to cut down a little bit on the time and to tweak them a little bit. And so far this video looks like it's pretty good. It's getting our message across that we want to get across. And now all we have to do is do some finishing touches to it. And that's going to be our video that we're going to set up for the promo video of this course as well. So we've got to add in a few other things here just to kind of get our message finished up. But we are starting up with our initial introduction, and then something to kind of get someone interested. So the hook, as they say, to kind of get someone interested in the video and what's to come. And then here, just some more facts that what you can do. So really to get the user to start thinking. And then here we've got our product, which is the video that's going to be the center point of our content. So again, we're leading up to it within the first few slides, and then the center part is going to be the core of our content. So we really want to illustrate what type of video you can make in literally minutes. And this video, I believe, if this was our video, these 6 slides, this could have been done probably in about 2 minutes. So that's how effective this software is that VideoMaker FX is. So also, if you want to add in packs, you've got the ability to install slides from a zip. So if you've downloaded the extra anniversary VideoMaker FX anniversary pack, you can really easily install these just by doing install. Go to their website, download the zip file, and go ahead and just do the install, and you'll see that they do show up here at the bottom. So things are going to show up in order of where it's been placed. So when you add in additional packages, additional themes, it's just going to show up here just below these other ones. And again, these right now, they were free to download, so I was able to install them. And again, this is just the default software, and there's a whole bunch of upgrades that you can do as well. You can get regular slides, regular themes, regular graphics to be able to use within the software as well. So really cool that they do provide all these options, and it just simply is really easy to understand and to work with. So I'm just going to add in this last slide. Actually, we're going to change that one. So I just had to erase that one because that wasn't really the one that I want to use, because she was actually unhappy within this one. So I want to get to one where that character is happy. I do spend quite a bit of time just kind of clicking through them, because these are really amazing slides, and once you get really familiar with these slides, you can really start to work with it very quickly and do the kind of thing that you want to do. So I'm just going to do a text zoom, and I'm going to just change that because I want to just have a last one that just kind of conveys a message of let's begin. And I'm going to add in another line. Are you ready? And let's begin learning. And I'm just going to change, add in a background image for that, because I don't really particularly like that background there. And maybe I'm going to add in this one here. See what that looks like, and then maybe shrink that down a little bit. So again, sometimes if you are adding your own images, there is a little bit of movement and customization, but this is also really good because this gives you the ability to really have these customized slides and these customized effects. And when you're looking for PNG files, there's a ton of them on the internet. We're also listing within the resource section of this course, we're going to list out where you can get PNG files, also where you can create PNG files, and free open source software to create PNG files. So really there's quite a lot of options, and I'm not sure why this is moving so slow, Guess I've got probably quite a lot of things open on the computer right now, so it's just taking a little bit of time, so I'm going to move that over. Sometimes a good tip as well is to pause it and then do the maneuveration then, or the moving then as well. So that does help with the speed up process, and then once it's ready, then you can do the display of that particular slide. Also, a couple buttons down here. If you notice, there's these arrows, left, right arrows. And what these do, if you don't want to be clicking down here in the timeline, you can actually move through the slides this way. Just be careful that you don't click this X, because that's actually going to delete the slide. So it's the same thing that when you click the X down here. So you always have to be mindful of the fact when you are clicking through here. That's why usually I do prefer to use the timeline area down here, because I usually try to click off of there, because if you do remove a slide, you can't get that back. So that's something to always keep in mind, and that's also a good reason to constantly save, because if you do accidentally push this X, or if you do push an X down here, you might be losing some content that you've been working on. So once you get to the point where you've created a project and you can look at their total time, so if I did want to create a video that was approximately 1.5 minutes long, so I just want to create a quick introduction to this course, so 75.9 seconds. So that's ideal for me for what I'm looking for. It's actually a little bit longer than I wanted, but we're just going to keep it at that because I do want to keep all of this content in there. So I've added in that conclusion file, just that call to action that your video should have. So once you do get that hook in the beginning, and also it's important to remember when people are watching your video that they are looking for those first few seconds, especially if you're on YouTube. Those first few seconds are going to be critical. So you really want to have a nice image, nice kind of wow, maybe an introduction to what this course is about, so maybe some more details, and just try to really get that message, and then create a hook. So sometimes asking a question or just making a statement is a good idea for that hook. And then you've got your content. So this is the core part of your messaging. And then lastly, we've got some additional information to really push through that final conversion at the end. So again, these slides were out of order. So again, it's also always good to look through your preview to make sure that doesn't happen, but we do have our final kind of push to really motivate those users to kind of say, okay, wow, you know, this is something that I want to look into more, and then that final call to action, are you ready? Let's begin learning. So this is what we want to do for our promo video, and now finally we just have to add in the audio settings. So audio again is really easy. You can do enable music, and you've got some options here for some default music that's available. You can also adjust the audio volume. So usually I like to keep that audio volume low, and as well so some really neat tracks. And if you do want to add your own, you've got the ability to browse to a file. And then with the voice recording, so you do have an option actually to record your audio within here. I usually like to use Audacity, so I'm going to have a link to that as well. So that's a free open source piece of software, recording software, and it records MP3 files. So I usually like to have my track as one file. I don't really like to use recording here, but it is efficient enough to do the recording and to add it in the video if you need to. And again, if this does save you time, instead of having to go out to other software, you can do everything you need to do within VideoMaker FX. And that's one of the good things about it, that everything that you really need to do to kind of get up and running quickly is included in the software. So that's what always attracted me to the software, that I find that this is something that's very useful, And one of the main reasons, again, why I'm using VideoMaker FX for my videos, I do have other pieces of software, and one of the main reasons I use it is just because of the ease of use. Everything is here. I don't have to look for graphics. I don't have to create graphics. I don't have to go out and do anything out of the box that isn't available within the software. So everything is here. Everything is laid out, and all you have to do is make your selection, update the text, and that's it, and you're ready to go. So also with MP3 files, YouTube is another great source for MP3 files. So if you have a YouTube account, you can go into your creative area and download MP3s there. So they have a really good selection for that. So maybe we're going to show you that in the next video, just to kind of get you familiar with what you can do within YouTube, as well as Audacity, in order to create your audio. But again, not necessary. If you do have your MP3s, or you want to use any of these default ones, there's plenty of content within VideoMaker FX to really get you going and completed. So once you've added in your tracks that you want to use, all you have to do finally is just do an export of the project. And that will pop up the export project to video. So I don't really quite want to do that yet, but you've got some options here. So generally, I usually do keep it in HD quality, and you've got an option for quality. So again, this is going to affect your file size. So if you're worried about that, if you do want to keep your file size small, you might want to just go with average. But if you do want to have a really crisp and clear video, then very good is always a good option, but it's just going to make it a bigger file size, and it's going to take probably a little bit longer to export as well. And once you've done that, you're ready to just start video exports. So just got to show the location, and it's going to export as an MP4 video file. And then again, MP4s are common video files, so for YouTube and all of the video sites are going to be able to take MP4s, and these MP4s are usually playable across devices, so you shouldn't have any problem with being able to view the video on various devices. As long as they accept MP4, you should be fine with that. And again, once you're ready, just do the start video export, and that's the completion of what you need to do to create your own videos.